Fords with the FR9 engine, the 6 car of David Reagan, the other car. So unfortunately, he's going to try to limp around, but I'm not sure it's going to last.
Yeah, and that's a tough break for these guys.
Good. There right now.
But you know where you hear the spotter tell him there's nothing he can really do except run it till it breaks. You know what I mean? Because it's not. It almost sounds like it's in the valve train a little bit more.
Yeah, he's about 1,000 to 1,500 RPMs off of what normally you'd be running down into turn 3 right there. And you can hear the engine.
Yeah, the engine's just flat. It's almost like it's in the valve train. And this thing can run like this all day long. The question is, can he maintain the speed he needs to maintain and stay out there and at least get points, you know what I mean? But he's going to be here for the rest of the day.
He's about 3 seconds off the pace right now than what he was running.
He was running third when the issue cropped up.
33.50, you just heard him say 33.50 is the speed they've got to maintain. And he's running a 33 flat, so he's within a half second. And I'm telling you, man, this is.
And there's 37 cars still running.
Yeah.
You know, so you're right. It's a long day to have to run like that, and you know, he's right there at the cutoff.
Jimmy Johnson gets around Kane. The free fall just beginning for driver number 9. No problems up front for Jeff Burton.
I'm starting with a 29.
I think so. I don't. Yes, exactly. Yes. Welcome back to NASCAR on TNT at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Jeff Burton, the winningest driver all time here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, currently your leader. Burton has led 16 laps so far. Man, would he love to get a victory here today.
Well, I'm telling you, it's been a long dry spell for this 31 car, and but we saw in practice yesterday, Lindsey, that he definitely had a car on that was good on long green runs, and he certainly showed it. We are down now to this could be a one-stop race.
You're right, and you know, you mentioned a dry spell. Charlotte, fall of 2008, the last time Burton ended up in victory lane. Okay, Larry, let's go through the field, starting with the car in the 11th spot.
The field, this is our points leader, Kevin Harvick, back in the 29 car, started in the 24th position.
He sure did, Larry. 402-point lead coming in. I talked to Gil Martin before the race. I said, do you go for wins? He said, I'd like to get through the next 2 weeks before we worry about going all out, going for wins, Ralph.
Phil, Ryan Newman is driving the same car he won Phoenix with earlier this year. They found some adjustments that seem to be getting the car a little bit better. They plan on only taking 2 tires every stop they have to make. After 100 laps to go, Marty, he's still trying to get this thing to turn better in the center.
Ralph, David Rudiman told me this morning that if they're going to get into the chase, they have to finish in the top 5. Currently, Rudiman in 13th, although they've gained 6 spots in the last 6 races. Gonna have to pedal to get there today. Very tight race car the last few runs for Rudiman. Phil?
Yeah, Marty, Casey Kane came in here 151 points out of 12. Unfortunately, with his motor problems, he's probably not going to get the finish that he deserves. Tough break for Casey Kane. Matt.
Phil, Joey Logano 17th in the championship standings, currently 15th on the racetrack. Joey told Greg Zipadelli the car is turning much better, rotating to the center of the corner. Now he just needs more help with drive off, but the changes that they've been making are going in the right direction.
Mark Martin moved to 8th on the all-time start list today by making his 775th career start. The car is not exactly where he would like it to go get another win here in New Hampshire. They've been working on it, making track bar adjustments, Matt.
Denny Hamlin runs in the 17th position. He says he has to just wait to get back in the throttle. It seems like forever. He says he has to put a ton of wheel in the car. It's been both tight and loose much of the day, Larry Mack.
Yeah, the car I'm watching, though, up inside the top 5, actually, Tony Stewart in that 14 car started back in the 25th position. Remember, he's off sequence on pit stops because on that first stop, they did not get that car full of fuel. He's going to have to make a stop here in about 10 to 12 laps. But the good news, he and everybody else is on a one-stop race should we stay green, Lindsey.
All right, well, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting, too, to see if Casey Kane will be able to get up to where he was leading for so long. We will have more updates coming up on the other side of the break. Right now, exciting racing at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Much more to come. Stick with us.
NASCAR on TNT, live at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Glad you're with us for race 17, presented by Captain Morgan. 225 laps complete here today. And in 6 days, you can follow the world's best drivers on NASCAR as we head to the world center of racing. Tune in as coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time with Countdown to Green. And then it's the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona, powered by Coca-Cola. You can watch it Saturday night only on TNT. And yes, it will be our annual wide open coverage.
Which is a good thing.
Oh, outstanding. Race fans get what they enjoy the most. Jeff Burton leads this race by 2.9 seconds over second place Kyle Busch. In fact, Busch the only driver in the top 5 right now that has won a race in 2010. And his teammate in trouble. Denny Hamlin, running 16th, has not met expectations today, and he's about to go a lap down, Kyle.
Yeah, and we had Denny this morning down there, and I felt like, you know, he said, look, we made a lot of changes. We talked to the 18. We made a lot of changes. He was pretty confident. He was a lot more confident than what I would have been changing everything like that. But he's struggling right now. Wow.
A.J. Allmendinger's not struggled today. Driving to the inside and around Kurt Busch. This is the battle for 7th, and the exchange is complete.
And this track has stayed very consistent today. It's not slowed down. These guys are running basically the same times that they ran at the start of the race, which is unusual for a track to stay that, you know, to stay the same. Usually this place gets really, really slippery.
Yeah, we see the 48 get around the 24, but you're exactly right. This is one of those places, some places we talk about when they rubber up, when the track gets rubber on it, they get really, really slick. This place seems to have been rubbering up. Whatever tire Goodyear has here obviously is a really good tire, and the consistency and the speeds have stayed.
Tony Stewart still needs that caution, Marty.
It's been an adventure, Adam, for Tony Stewart, and unfortunately, once again, he's running out of time to get that caution. They're about 6 to 7 laps from stopping, but A, you have to give Stewart credit. He's hung in there all day long, but B, you drivers can talk about it in a second, the tenacity to stick with it all day long, even though they know they're out of sequence, and how frustrating that must be, Matt.
Marty, right before the last stop, Jeff Gordon was telling Steve Letarte the car was wrecking loose. They found out why after the stop. They had a tire going down. Letarte told Gordon, keep that in mind considering the changes that we made. Jeff says the car is just bouncing on entry, hopping around, and it's just wicked loose on exit now. And now the sun is starting to come back out. We'd had a lot of cloud cover for about the last 25 or 30 laps.
Matt Casey Kane, a driver that we talked about a great deal in the early portion of this race, started on the outside of the front row, one of the 9 different leaders today, as you see Jeff Burton working through lap traffic. But he had an engine problem. Kane dropped from the lead back to 17th. Larry has more on the issue for driver number 9.
Well, Adam, in yesterday's practice, even with the gear rule here at this little over a 1-mile racetrack, we were seeing max RPM at the end of the straightaway, 95, 96, 9,700 RPM. And just think about it. We've only had 1 caution. That's a lot of cycles and a lot of hanging RPM with these engines. Probably the reason the 9 is still able to run. More than likely, he possibly broke a valve spring right here. The other thing that could possibly happen is he may have broken a valve. Now, he can still keep running as long as that valve does not get down here and tag this piston. I think he possibly can nurse this thing home. Of course, they're trying to accumulate as many points as they possibly can. Remember, Phil Parsons reported the 6 and the 9, they have the new FR9 engine. So no matter what, I'm sure tomorrow, Doug Yates, Jack Roush, they can't wait to see exactly what has happened to this 9's engine.
That Toyota torque car's got a little bit of everything. And they're a great illustration on what Casey Kane is dealing with. If he can't nurse it home, Larry, it would be the 2nd consecutive race he's lost an engine here at New Hampshire. A DNF in September for Kane here as well.
If that valve gets down there and knocks the top out of that piston, we're going to see massive smoke. I will tell you that. But, you know, a car will run. A lot of times you'll break a valve spring will cock in there. It'll get sideways up in there, and the car will continue the run, and it keeps just enough tension. You just lose a cylinder. And these cars will run on 7 cylinders. These guys are just trying to get points right now, and you know, it's a miserable day when that happens to you.
Clint Boyer's managed his day nicely. He's in the top 10 just behind Kurt Busch. Burton leads. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The engine finally gave way on Casey Kane, so we are under caution for the second time today.